I'm here at the meeting of the new champions. It's called the annual meeting of the new champions, the World Economic Forum. I love the names they choose at the forum. I used to be a global leader for tomorrow at the World Economic Forum, GLD. And what you see here is, I would call almost an army of beautiful Chinese women who are guarding the doors of the plenary hall. The meeting is very well organized, and I have a lot of friends who have come. I am absolutely impressed by the city of Dalian, the largest city I had never heard about. If this city was in Spain, it would be by far the largest city in Spain, but instead it hasn't transcended, I guess, until now, in the sense that most people outside of China have never heard about it. It's an incredibly modern city that was built, I would say, it looks like it's all been built in the last 20 years. I don't know if they built it by tearing down whatever was here, or if they built it by going into open fields. The architecture, I would say, is 20% appealing, 80% horrifying. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but I really can't say I like the aesthetics of most of the buildings here. If the Americans thought that they were the people who were most interested in showing that there was virtue in size, they have been outsized by the Chinese in almost every measure. They've been outsized by the Chinese in population. They've been outsized by the Chinese this year as the #1 polluters in the world. They have been outsized by the Chinese at the number of square feet in skyscrapers. The very large avenues of Washington have very little, look small compared to the avenues of Dalian. This is the city with the most empty avenues that I have ever seen. You can see what probably is the biggest roundabout that I have ever seen in my life. Everything has gigantic proportions. It's hard to understand why anybody would keep so much park-like surface without making this enjoyable for people, but this is a gigantic roundabout that it's mostly enjoyable by car. The fact that the Chinese have adopted the car as their development vehicle also is very American. I think the Japanese, of course, love cars, but smaller cars. They tax cars, and they have a lot more public transportation. The fact that Communist China has opted to go for private transportation is surprising. I don't think China can afford the pollution that will be brought about when the average Chinese the average Chinese family has 2 cars, let's say, as the average American family, even 1 car. I understand that only 5% of the Chinese have cars now, and the country's extremely polluted. It's also polluted because this country makes electricity out of coal, which is something that I hope, for the sake of the whole world, that they change into a model that uses solar and wind and nuclear, because even nuclear, we're concerned about the waste, but with burning coal, we just get the waste every day. In any case, Dalian has a beautiful aspect, which is the coastline that you can see here. And I haven't been to the beach. I don't know if the waters are clean or not, or how pleasant it is to go to the beach. It's hard when you come to these conferences and all you see is people, and you don't get a chance to look around or see the city. From what I saw, the city is a collection of modern buildings, one next to the other. Here there's a picture of it that somehow shows you what I mean. I am now going to go into something that's known as the village, and the village is a collection of basically company exhibits of people who support WEF, which is something unusual. They didn't used to have a fair, let's say at Davos, but there is one here.